Set up for details. In this example, I want to photograph some close-up detail of the book's cover and also some embossed detailed illustrations inside the book. This setup uses the tabletop backdrop in Studio One and two Interfit F5 daylight balanced continuous lights which are positioned to the left and above. The main studio lights are switched off, which will offer a neutral white balance. A custom white balance has been set and the exposure is adjusted manually using the camera's exposure meter as a guide. Shooting objects close up and at a low angle offers some technical challenges. The main challenge is achieving a good depth of field to ensure key detail is in sharp focus. For the first 3 shots, the shutter speed is set to 1/30th of a second, an ISO of 100, and the aperture is set at f4, which will give a shallow depth of field. In the first shot, the focus is placed on the text at the closest point of the book's spine. Here we can see the effect of a shallow depth of field, with the area of sharp focus or sweet spot placed around the word king. In the second shot, the focus is placed on the text toward the back of the spine. Here, the sweet spot is placed around the word over. In the third shot, focus is placed to the text on the right. The sweet spot is placed around the word turn. In each case, a shallow depth of field offers a much softer feel to the shot, which can work creatively. In the next 3 shots, the camera settings have been changed to a shutter speed of 1 second, an ISO of 100, and an aperture of f22. This is the smallest aperture available to this particular lens. Because it's a long exposure, it's a really good idea to use a self-timer function or a cable release to minimize the risk of camera shake. In this first shot, the focus is placed on the text at the closest point of the book's spine. Here we can see the effect of a good depth of field, with the area of sharp focus extending across the front 2/3 of the book. In the second shot, the focus is placed on the text toward the back of the spine. Here the effect of a good depth of field extends across the main area of the book. In the third shot, focus is again placed to the text on the right. Any real difference is minimal, perhaps an increase of sharpness to the front 1/3 of the book. The aim is to achieve the best possible depth of field front to back and edge to edge. It's worth considering focus stacking images to achieve the best results. The inside pages are embossed with illustrations. Using the same 2-light setup results in a fairly flat image, and I want to highlight the embossed element. This is achieved by replacing the left-hand light with a deado light positioned at a low angle to add some contrast and texture to the scene. The deado light brightness and color temperature are adjusted as required, and the shutter speed is set to 1.5 seconds to compensate. The result adds definition to the embossed element and highlights the texture of the paper. By adjusting the brightness of the deado light, this enables the embossed element to be more visible.